I think, colleagues, I suggest we proceed, and we will have time during lunch for further discussions. And so this section is mainly what we do with students. And you have kind of luxury that you heard about cyber immunity at KasperskyOS for the last more than a day. And you have now more information than I'd say most people in the world have about cyber immunity and KasperskyOS. However, when we start or when we introduce the topic to students, they don't have this information, and we want to deliver in a simple words and concepts the main idea. Yeah. So, and we start with things. Well, okay, we assume that students either know nothing at all, or they have some background in cybersecurity. Maybe they have some background in systems development. And so we first try to explain what's this whole thing about and what is core. We start with 3 stereotypes in cybersecurity or information security areas. And what are the issues between security professionals and developers? Yeah. So first is we call these 3 things as stereotypes. That's common maybe myths. Many developers think that information security is not their topic. Yeah. So and you probably also noticed that many developers think that it's not interesting. It's not for them. They need to focus on functionality. Yeah. Whereas security is something that will come later on top and will be done by someone else. So, and then what happens that security professionals later deal with black box products as black boxes, yeah, trying to analyze protection or maybe improve protection, but they don't know details how it works internally. And as a result, if there's a breach, they don't really know how a successful attack will develop inside the system. So they really have some issues with, let's say, high-quality protection of systems, and also they can't really find the consequences of successful attacks. Second is about encryption. Yeah, so that's kind of standard approach. Okay, we will follow the guides in security areas, and what we will do, we will encrypt all the communication channels, and we are secure. Yeah, so it's kind of securing the perimeter, and that's it. Because everything else is quite expensive, challenging, etc. So encryption, yeah, is the only thing that really matters if you want to do a secure system. Have you also heard of such a stereotype? What is that? Do you think that's really widely spread? Yeah. And the third stereotype is that, okay, if we really want to have secure system, then we need to develop everything ourselves. What is developed by us is secure by definition, because we are good. Yeah, we would never try to harm our system, our customers. Yeah, so redevelop from scratch. Third stereotype, does it ring the bell? Yeah, please press sound. Okay, but that's really an issue when we come to developers saying that, okay, that self-developed code, first of all, it is not more secure than, say, any other open source code in average, especially if we think of developers whose, let's say, political position might change over time. Yeah. Also, we might have in our companies security services or those HR responsible for background checks. But most companies, business companies, they don't have very, powerful or experts staff that could really do very deep background checks, and in most cases that's right, rather formal thing. Yeah, okay, no criminality records easily found, so then this guy is good. Yeah, we can hire. But there are already examples when new hires were actually sent by hacking groups just to compromise large companies from inside by introducing some malicious code in the self-developed code or some products in companies. So how to protect from that? Yeah, that's the question. Because it doesn't matter how encrypted your communication is. All the problems are already inside the perimeter, and right from the development. Without saying that actually development environments can be already compromised. You've probably heard of the SolarWinds issue, right? When so through compromised libraries, were also malicious code was brought into the system during development time, the compile time. Yeah. So somehow we need to deal with it. This slide field is so probably at least most parts of it. These are issues of security in development nowadays. That no requirement, security by default. That's the simplest thing that product owner says. Okay, you are my development team, guys. Of course, our system must be secure. So what is the question? Yeah. So that's default security, and there's no requirement. It's required since there's no requirement. Either guys do whatever they think is good for the system security, or they just do nothing because they are not paid for it, right? As a result, it's not tested. And in general, you also know, and I just mentioned before, that developers, they keen on new development technologies and technological stacks, but not really fans of security. So there's a lack of expertise in secure development in general. And those who are really experts, they cost. Yeah, difficult to find, and they have high salaries. So that's about development problems and code problems. You know that nowadays systems are very sophisticated. They have a large code base. They have a lot of third-party components, open source, proprietary components, and basically nobody knows what's inside, how it works. Then the all connected. Everything is connected to internet. We have lots of APIs that especially cloud-based applications reuse, to deploy, get to the market faster and deploy better functionality, more, let's say, powerful, flexible functionality to customers to get faster, high profitable products. And this connectivity, of course, increases attack surface. Yeah. No surprises here. What is undocumented features? Sorry, undocumented or functional. Okay, so probability of malicious code increases a lot. So we have lots of these problems. Now, let's think of another game. Let's think of drone, that's unmanned aerial vehicle, or simply drone, which does which fight fire. Okay, we developed this example, this game first in Russia. You have different, let's say, environment here, and for you forest fires maybe not the issue here. Okay, use your imagination. We have lots of forests, and especially in Russia, we have over the years increased the amount of forest basically lost during the forest fires. And it's not only an issue of lost resources, it's also a problem for infrastructure, for people, for villages. Yeah. So, on one hand, also climate change somehow contributes to this issue. On the other hand, we see basically growing industry of these drones, UAVs, and there's a trend for increased autonomy of these systems. And now let's imagine that near like 20 years from now, maybe 10 years from now, and we design a fully autonomous system which can fight the fires, forest fires. We have those drones which can also cooperate with each other. And there are just a few people in operating center who observe, who monitor the situation. And basically, they define missions, and they send drones somewhere to stop the fire. Yeah. So, in our drones brigade, that's just an example, not real products just yet at least. And our drones have two operating modes. One is, of course, use water. And water they can use from available sources, rivers, lakes, whatever. So somewhere nearby. And second, they can start controlled fire. Yes, Vladimir already mentioned that we can start fire, which will basically prevent a forest fire from spreading. Yeah, do you understand the idea? This controlled fire. Okay. So we have these two modes, which the same drone can operate. Yeah, and this drone basically does it autonomously. So that's somehow to raise the stakes, yeah, of let's see, wrong decision of the drone. You can imagine what will happen if instead of extinguishing with water, it will start fire, or if we do it in the wrong place. Yeah, we want to help with some forest area. Instead, we started fire at an actual power plant. Yeah. So, of course, there is a quite high cost, clear, let's say, loss that we can, as business, we can somehow estimate. Yeah. And it all starts, cyber immunity starts with clear business understanding of demand for secure solution. And what is secure solution? So, those optional components we will skip. This is how this system can look like, let's say, in general. We have here firefighter drones, and there could be other drones, and there could be orbital repeaters, which will support our autonomous operation in some remote areas. Everything, the focus is done on this autonomous feature here, AI, so artificial intelligence, they do a lot on themselves. And then you understand, once we implement such drones, we definitely have to secure this core functionality to avoid those, let's say, most unacceptable scenarios. Okay, so we will focus only on firefighters. We won't go into details of other drones, which might be, let's say, topics for other games. Okay, security objectives. This is what actually you heard as also security goals yesterday and today. And please note, security objectives here, that is statement which does not have any technical solution. It doesn't say that we must have some encryption or we need to have some authorization in particular component of the system. It says that extinguishing is carried out only in an authorized area. That's the first security objective, and the second, only by an authorized method. This means that if an operator through console in the mission says that this firefighter must operate in this specific area, then in no other area this operation can be carried out. I mean, active operation. Of course, this drone might fly through other areas, but starting extinguishing or starting fire, it can only do in certain authorized areas. This is one thing. And second, if it says use water, it cannot start fire, or vice versa. Yeah. So these are two security objectives, and these must be ensured by the system design. This is how business sees it, and this is what architect or system developers agree that by the design of the drone, they will ensure that these two security objectives will be followed. Yeah. So this is what they will also test and demonstrate to justify by the whole system design. And there are security assumptions. Security assumption is something that helps us as developers to spend less resources on securing components that are out of our hands, and these statements become security objectives for other systems, neighbor systems. Okay, like here, source of flight task is trustworthy. This means that if we in our firefighters receive flight task or mission details, and we can see that it comes from ground control station, we don't try to check whether this ground control station is okay or was hacked. Yeah, or that the operator somehow is actually hacker, yeah, and tries to manipulate with the firefighters, our drones, and cause some harm. We, as developers, responsible only for these drones, and for other components, must be responsible other developers or other departments. So we somehow separate responsibility through security assumptions. Again, it's not technical terms. Yeah, it's about, again, business and the separation of responsibility in the system design. Now, this is the starting point system architecture of our drone, and we will play now. And you all will play also online, colleagues. If you want to join us, you will all play as system architects, and you will all start with this architecture. And you see in the circles dollar signs. So it means, okay, it means each dollar sign means $1 million for trustworthy implementation, or let's say secure development of this particular component. Yeah. For example, $1 sign is just $1 million. For example, and you might ask, okay, why communication is more expensive than extinguishing with water? So communication here and other components, they combine hardware and software for its work. That's computing based, hardware and software. Of course, communication, along with all possible encryption, modulation, and transmitters, etc., is quite sophisticated and expensive component. Yeah, and now you also need to implement secure implementation. Means validate, verify every line of code. So that's why this component is big, complex, and costs a lot. Same applies to the central control system. For example, we have a group of our drones which operate autonomously or collectively and collectively. Of course, there are sophisticated algorithms. Again, verification of every line of code costs about $2 million. Whereas extinguishing with water and ignition subsystems, they're rather small. It's just, okay, send these commands and basically control that it works. All right? Not really much to do in terms of algorithms and hardware. That's why they are less expensive. Battery level monitoring here, that's about our drones mentioned there, electric drones, and here we understand how much time, flight time is left. Control of the situation, that's the camera, and imagine there is artificial intelligence, some computer vision components that lets our drones to understand if fire is still there or not. Okay, you will have a description also in Telegram when you start playing. So yeah, you are developers here, and there will be hackers who will try to attack system components from inside. Yeah. So there are three kinds, and basically, let's say 3 hackers will be present. Repeat it. You see, there are many such guys, but their capabilities are quite limited. They use some existing software and hardware. They don't know much about the system, and they just try pure luck. We have ideological hackers, and these guys, they, for example, could introduce some malicious code in open source components. This now happens more often since 2 years, or last year. Was a rather rare situation, but now I remember Kaspersky report says over 100 open source components already found which contain malicious code. Yeah, so this will go into ideological hackers. And then advanced persistent threats, target attacks. So these could be either financially motivated, or there could be potentially some former employees who, for some reasons, want to cause harm to our organization. They know everything about the implementation of our drone. In worst case, they're even still employed. Yeah, but they not left yet, but they only want to cause some problems to us. Not everyone will start from the beginning, but a bit later. So in this game, mechanics is very simple. You will try to protect the components, protect the system from breaking the security objectives. So you will need to choose the most critical from your point of view components, compromising of which could result to security objectives violation. Yeah? And hackers on their side would try to, according to their profiles, would try to hack components. So you as developers will get a score if you were lucky and developed securely exactly the same component which critical for security objective, and B was attacked. Yeah, under these 2 conditions, you will get a score. And hackers will get a score if they manage to hack a critical component which has not been protected, not securely developed. Yeah, you will see the algorithms also. I will give you printouts. You will have all the details in Telegram, and we all know sequence diagrams. You know how to read that. Good. So, and here just take note: the central control system communicates with its with movement control. Yeah, and it says based on navigation data to the movement control subsystem, move to the area A, authorized area, and then movement control says, okay, after movement is finished, I'm in the area, and then this distinguishing will stop, right? So, and the distinguishing will be done by the component which was triggered with methods implemented in this component. Okay. Yeah, so you will choose components and you will have limited budget. Right. We will have 5 minutes. We will have 3 rounds. Yeah. For each round, you will have several minutes to choose. And then we will have 2 minutes for discussion. So now, please start chat with this bot. You'll see the name of the bot on the screen. I will also send a link in the chat. Individual. Everything here will be individual. We can discuss alternative formats after the game, but right now it's individual. Okay, so I would expect that once you connect, there is a button start. When you click on the button start, it will ask you for your name. What's your team name? Please let me know if you've got to this point. You joined, good. Yeah, team name, any team name. I will say I will be Sergey. I will also play with you. And once you enter the team name, you will get a bunch of information about the first step. Also, those who are here on site will receive readout. It's more convenient. You read all the information that you receive in private round. You can also find here. In this first step, you have to use. You have to work with this given architecture, and as I said, you have to identify and secure within the available budget, which is $6 million. You have just $6 million for this secure development. Yeah. You have total budget of $6 million. You have on the architecture costs. Each dollar means $1 million. $2 means $2 million. That's the cost of secure development of, for example, communication. Yeah. So, and now you need to choose within the next 5 minutes. You need to choose those components that you will develop securely, right? Whereas hackers will attack your system. There will be right now 2 profiles, let's say, groups of hackers who will play against you. You should try to protect as many critical components as you can within the given budget. And the goal is to ensure security objectives not violated. So, and I will... Yeah. Just as an example, I choose, as it is written here, 1 and 2, the first and the second component. Yeah. You can choose whatever you want. If you want to work together, feel free. Right, just a check online, colleagues. Are you playing with us? You just type the components, the numbers, press enter, so you're done. Once everyone is done, or after 3 minutes, 5 seconds, I will finish this round, and we will get the results. You don't have to spend everything you have. You don't have to. If you think that you can spend less, that's great. Yeah, sure. Feel free. Yeah, but if you manage to spend some $1 million to your company, you will get a bonus. So everything you don't spend will be paid to you. Give bonus, so we spend everything. Actually, for that, I spend that million, and still 25. Yeah, for next year, yeah. I understand, but here it's not about state companies. It's about business. Yeah, and business here owner says, you guys developers, if you're so great that with small budget you can ensure the security objectives, then I pay you bonus because you're so cool. You have so great experience. But if you spend everything and security objectives are violated, then you have trouble. Do we need 2 minutes more, or you're all done? Anyone not finished? You're finished. Okay. So then let's speed it up a bit. As a game administrator, I will end this round. Okay, it's over, and we have along with this Telegram bot, we have online calculator in Google Sheets, and all right. So actually, have you really sent your choices? Because I see not that many inputs here. I expected more. Okay. Can you send just in case once more, please? Same results. Colleagues, everyone but Cheney, can you please send once again the results, because I only see results from one team member. Yeah, just send the same results again. Oh, same choice again, please. Okay. Looks like there are some technical issues because I still get just 2 results. We will play with what we have, unfortunately, and it doesn't break everything. Unfortunately, you won't get your individual results right now, but let's work with the results of April and mine. And right now we have 2 hackers, script kidders, and ideological hackers who attack these components you see on the screen. So what is the results? For me, I have the following issues here. Okay, April, have you received your results in your phone? In Telegram, you should have received the message right now. Yes, and anything else? Interesting. Yeah, maybe some Telegram issues here, because I did have results. Still no results. Nobody received the results. Okay. Then let's look at the results sheet online. So what we have right now? We have results from people 238. Is that correct? Input from people. Yeah, 238. And April got 1 point for one blocked attack, and I got just also 1 point, and Street Kitties got 40 points for hacking, and they got also ideological hackers got 3 points for hacking because their results they hacked too fast. They hacked, as you see, components 5, 6, 7. Ideological hackers control batteries, situation control batteries, and number 6 is what is number 6? Movement control. Yeah. So I just review to understand what are the consequences of the controls in battery. With movement control, they simply send our drop to some our sleep, and without our control system understanding that the objective that the teaching is not only authorized areas entirely that affects the result of successful attack of component number 6. One more. One more. Let's it. All right. Yeah, please. Also, successful attack number 8. That's for navigation system. Yeah, it means that our hackers managed to mislead our control system. It's not, for example, it starts from point B, but yes, it actually started from point B, and the control it didn't correct. Yeah, and again, that's violation of security objective number 1. We went into unauthorized area and started execution there. So, still, we see that April protected navigation control system, and that is fire extinguisher, water extinguisher, right? And at the same time, got hacked through communication. Compromised communication means that basically we received compromised mission details, right? It means that through a connectivity module, we had our critical sensitive information about mission, and it's, for example, substituted the mission completely. Instead of extinguishing with water, we started firing, and in the wrong place. That's the consequence of compromising component number 1. And just we here protected this component, it will spend money in other components. Of course, if we had more money, we could secure more. Yeah, we could develop a better protected system, and that's the issue. We need more money. Yeah, this is what we have to communicate to our management, and that is the second step of our game. Let's see if it works better. By the way, any other impressions or conclusions? I'm very sorry that we've got these technical issues and just one input got processed. Anyone else could comment what they protected successfully and what they? Yeah, I understand. On Telegram, we'll work in it. But actually, working on it. Yeah, when they connect everything. So you have to contact the added the add me, add home, but you've got access from navigation. But yeah, you
But like your through communication, but not navigation. Through navigation, you got your own coordinate. But it has a kind of mission, which is that we should outsee. The paper that has gone, we actually are assuming that the coordinate came. Yeah, they were stats correct. They arrived at your communication system, right? But your communication system, you can just compromise and compromise because you think some others might not. Okay. You need secure communication system, you reach out, but you have secure communication. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. This is the objective file. The correct components that you think you have problems if you match with the most critical components for security objectives. All right. So what that be that? So you don't know in advance what hackers will attack. You don't know. But from description of components, you should understand what is critical to security objectives. Right. And so the second. Colleagues, now the second round, you said you need more money. You need to secure navigation, for example, in addition to everything else. And basically, you thought architecture is fine. And actually, you don't have money to change the system architecture, but you managed to get more money from management for secure development. $8 million. Same architecture, but $8 million. However, from this round on, there are advanced persistent threats on the scene. So there are target attacks attempted on your drones. You have to keep in mind that from this move on, basically more components are under attack, yeah, and you have to cope with it somehow. 5 minutes, make up your mind. So choose components within $8 million, what you're going to protect. And again, objectives the same. Yeah, right. You have what? Yeah, 2 million, 30% increase. Within just one iteration. You're rich, guys. $8 million. You have to choose whatever number of components you want, but within the available budget. Yeah. Yeah, what? Okay. Spend all my. Yeah, what I was going to spend. Wow, it's a business environment. If you spend less, you get bonus. Everything you don't spend is what is putting at your desk for your team. Profit check. All right. And have you received second round details in your Telegram clients? Yeah. Okay. So somehow I do not receive or the system doesn't receive that notification from your client applications. I don't know why. Just on the go. If you will discuss later and check later. Again, so please make up your minds. And for the second round, I will enter manually your details in our calculator that you will get the results. Okay, yeah, I see now result from harsh mode. Okay, colleagues, then let's proceed again, speed up a bit, and still we have some technical issues, and I will manually summarize results of this move. And so on the second move, we have results this time from Ubida. Yeah, and it might be also an issue with our bot. I will check it later. Okay, so we have two options. So let's have just this example. 5 and 6 protected. Yeah, and we actually have these three profiles, three hackers, to attack again 1, 8, 5, 6, 7, and 2, 3, 4 in this round. Yeah. So which points got Kubida? 1 point for blocking attack on component number 6. Yeah. Good job. However, our hackers that's situation at the moment. Our hackers got 20 successful breaches. Yeah. With just at the moment again 7 successful let's say protections. Let's call it this way. And we cannot fully, of course, rely on this number because of the issues. The message is the following. Just have a look on the infos that you sent and compare it with the attacks that you see on the screen. Yeah. So, and you just, you can tell me which of these attacks you have successfully blocked.
1, 8 for me.
1, 8. It means that you missed attacks 6, 7,
8, 6, 2.
2, 3, and 4.
So I picked 4, 1, 8, 6, 2.
You picked 1, 8, 6, and 2, right? So you missed the 3 and 4.
What? I don't have enough money left.
Yeah, that's the problem. Exactly. That is the issue.
So I went for the ones that I know it is gonna high risk, and then I can.
Good. Yeah. Who else? It's the same thing. Yeah. 8, 1, 2. Good. Again, you unfortunately missed the 3, 4, and 6. Yeah.
4, 6, 7, and 8.
4, 6, 7, and 8. You missed 1. So you got the wrong mission detail. So that's completely wrong operation of your drone. Yeah, communication is crucial. All right. So what I mean exactly, that's the issue. You'll never have enough money to protect everything. Yeah. If you were told self-developed tool range is but it's bad. Or secure development of third party or verification of third party is also expensive. You don't have enough money to verify everything in your system. So now the last round, and basically it's supposed to be an insight. Yeah. So again, you failed second time, even with 30% budget increase. You failed to protect your system from security objectives violation. And for the business, it's more than critical. Yeah, they're about to lose the business. Yeah, it might be subject to some crime investigations because with firing in the wrong place, it could cause some critical damage to infrastructure, or maybe even some people could die. Yeah. Died. And what happens for the third step? We assume that now you've trained in cyber immune systems development. Yeah, and you managed to redesign the system, and you will get for the third round. So you managed to create a new system architecture, or you had a great trained in cyber immune development architect. Yes, that's the best answer. Exactly. You hired me, and I gave you through Camila, I gave you the best architecture. Yeah. Unfortunately, management said after the previous 2 rounds, they lost too much money and they cannot afford the same budget for security. And they decreased. Without changing the security objectives and assumptions, they decreased the budget to $5 million. So we dropped from 8, even not to 6, we dropped to $5 million. Wait, just wait. You got a new architecture from your great architect, right? And now you have $5 million, and you have new architecture. You have 8 minutes, 8 minutes, to basically withstand attacks from the same attackers, the same hacking profiles.
Almost the same. Of course, unfortunately for you, hackers, through their compromised co-worker in our organization, also got information about new architecture. Everything you know, they also know. That's the problem. No security by security. Yeah, no everything. And they will also know about all the new components, and they will try to attack them as well as all the older little people. But when you need like data and then that's a global litigation satellite system. That's basically like GPS, products that all those satellite. And then INET, that's National Navigation System. That's a fully autonomous onboard system.
In Telegram, you have just received all the information about this third round. It replicates everything you got through hands-out. Yeah, notes. So please send or fix and send your input. Everyone finished? Is still more time? Finished. Everyone finished. Okay. So let's have a look. All right. So good. So still we have just two examples, two scenarios or strategies from this room. Somehow mine and Richard this time. Who's Richard? Good. Perfect. Let's analyze it. So we can decide to protect the 11th, 2nd, and 6th. Yeah, right? Yeah. Let's have a look what happens. Okay, let's do the analysis manually. Good. So again, let's look at on what Richard has protected. 11, that's a new component, and this component is responsible for control of the authenticity on the bypass. Right. This means that those hackers who attack those sweet kitties for communication, they fail. Right. They might get hacked. They might get into our communication module and basically break or introduce some inconsistency or even replace flight task, but through some very smart but rather small authenticity check. For example, it could be digital signature or some other mechanism. We managed to identify this attack and block it. What happens if we block it? We don't get authentic flight task, so we don't fly anywhere. We do not fight the fire. That's bad. But we do not violate security objective. This is what business requires from us as developers, right? Then Richard protected the second component, the control system, and basically any attacks from our targeted attacks on this control system also failed. And Richard protected the component number 6, which is movement control, which is also good, blocked this attack from our ideological hackers. You know that flight controllers implementations nowadays, they're in most cases either open source or proprietary. Those vendors of drones, they do not develop themselves flight controllers. They reuse some third-party components for this part. Yeah,
And because of these attacks on these component number 6 are highly possible. Okay. So, but this has been blocked. Good. So basically, Richard, of course, got 3 points for successfully rejected attacks. Okay. But there's but. Obviously, you've got basically your drone was hacked through other attacks, which is 3, 4, then through navigation, which is either 8 or 10. 10, the new component 10. Yeah, so you got authentic fast quite dark, but you in the first institution. Yeah, but that is great. Yeah, these are the new attacks. Yeah, these are the new attacks. Unfortunately, still the problem. One more paper, which with attack for the attacks. Sure. And there is another strategy. Fine. Okay. Which consists of the new components 9, 10, 11, and 12. So let's discuss this new strategy and what happens if we choose this strategy. First of all, you see that you will see that any attacks on component number 1 will be blocked by 11. Yeah. Any attack on 2, 3, 4, as well as 6 will be blocked by component number 12. Yeah. Why? Why? Well, because the 12 has authentic quite fast description, and it has navigation data from 10. Yeah, 10. Sorry. 10 I have protect. Yeah. I have protected 9, 10, 11, and 12. These are the 4 components I have protected. Overall cost you can calculate is for you. It's not even 5. It's 4. It's 5, 9, 10, 10. 12 should not. That's a valid question. I will just let's make molecules. I have 2 sources of the additional data. Yet I have data integration component which combines this navigation data. That those are sophisticated algorithms to try to detect any anomalies and it can detect those anomalies. So that it creates the type level if you don't have consistent navigation data and we just look at the self of any operation. But if you do not protect any of the navigation sources, then theoretically they both and the same properties are correct. Yeah. But the depth configuration, well, it depends. You have to, yeah, you have so great that you can, again, you can justify that regardless what happens in 8 and 9, or the full number 10, well, will just active. Perfect. Then you don't have to spend 9. That's what like what that 10. I didn't get this. Wow. No, I said that some anecdote then and put that will withdraw the center of the consistent. Which I bet you are controlled by the control system. That's another thing. That's a great thing about reading that you don't really need the set of processes. It can be compromised and it can try to send commands which would violate the objective, but it will be blocked by well. Control functionality the arrow when needed. Direction of the arrow. So we want to do that one from 11 to 12. The idea is that from 11 to 12, we get the same quite up. That's the end of the and he felt you felt that there's another arrow missing, which you I think should get into Telegram chat from 10 to 12. Then the source of navigational. So they prevent it to word to pick up the level and 1.9. You cannot protect that. Like that, like whatever is consistent in mind would be basically compromised in that. Then it's finally source of navigation. Is that from two navigations? Yeah. Evidence navigation, yes. Great, but the different sources of that guidance leading deploy the result. Yeah, but if I so it in a way it rentals. Yeah, and it works correctly. But if it is not provided, this is the place where your navigation data can be basically modified. And you rely on the data on final result of this integration from that perspective. Well, yes, and at least one of the sources of the what you be inertial navigation, autonomous one, because you don't have a satellite, it's still no dependent. Yeah, that was why I felt we don't need to take the line. If they have to take identification as a productivity you can get, consider plan of information production sources and the version and we put the detect violation of integrity. Yeah, so if this can detect violation, then I don't need to put that to yeah. Right. However, again, it's not magic, you know. There are algorithms which still okay. There are very severe limitations in source. Yeah. But it takes a none through our targeted plan and being compromised in different line. One of some of the yeah, was the architecture was high. Yeah, so that one source. Yeah, like what can we do with that? So at least we probably need to have but ingredients. Exactly. So that's it. And what happens if you will choose all the new components in your sketch? That we basically spend even less money and to budget. So for the union, not even 5. Yeah. So on giving us the print share communication, implement pilot. Yeah, this way is pretty yeah. And instead of 5. So again, you don't want to try to protect everything. Yeah. Anyone shows for the new components or like like anyone chose the new components on the anyone spent okay, not yet. Okay. So let's summarize this game. Yeah. And now go a bit into theory, and we will have more theory about the security by design topic after this game. So the idea is in our system, we're going to have a mixture of trusted and untrusted components. And as you see from this example, if we have well-designed, trusted components, then we can spend less money in verifying most of other components like communication in this game and even central control system, because we have clear logic how we will ensure our security objectives, protection. Yeah. So we build trusted solution from components which most of them we do not trust. Okay, and this is based on three principles you heard. So basically yesterday and even today: isolation, control, and limitation of the trusted computing base. We do have to introduce some isolation of our trusted components from untrusted ones. Otherwise, it won't work, right? If everything is in one memory space, then our algorithms will not help us. So isolation is crucial. Then controlling of communication basically helps us to implement this zero trust approach and define protection surface instead of minimization of attack surface. So this control of communication is also very crucial for secure implementation of our trusted components. And on this slide, you see those new components, which if you protect them, will basically block all the attack scenarios from all the hackers. Yeah. So 9, 10, 11, and 12, 4 million. So, and they will block all these 12 attacks that you also see on printouts. If you want, we can discuss in a bit more details, particular new components, how they protect attacks on sub-components. Do you want to discuss in details or we proceed? Clear, good. Right, and the very important thing is that at the beginning, you all said that the central control system is essential and it's no-brainer. We have to secure it. It's the most, one of the largest components, the most expensive ones, and we always spend money there. But it's not the case when we do security by design, when we implement security by design approach. That we basically, we can imagine that the code, which is critical to our security assumptions, is kind of spread along our components in the initial or original architecture. And what we do, we extract this security critical code and put it to small components, which we will verify, isolate from others, verify thoroughly. And all the business logic, functionally important, but not security important, will stay in those large components. So the idea, you see, especially like 12, it basically looks like security monitor for our drone. It ensures that we only start operation if we allowed, and where it is possible or allowed. This is number 12. This is what we in the initial architecture would also do in this control system component, but it's very large and expensive. And also we have potential for compromised fee or if they allowed to implement decisions, start ignition or start auto extinction. So we take this possibilities from this component and make this number 12 required. It's let's say permission required for this extinction modes to stop working. So, all right. So this is what we do as architects when we need to design system with focus on security objectives. And security objectives we do not invent. We take them from business. So business must communicate to us what is the most important part of the system. There might be many reasons why not to secure the drone itself. Because here, in this approach, if we do not secure number 6, movement control, what can happen? Compromise 6 can basically led to the situation that our drone falls down. So we lose our drone, which can cost maybe tens of thousands of dollars. But that's acceptable for business. It might sound not acceptable for us as developers, but for business, they think on different scale. For them, the critical part is human lives and critical infrastructure. These are millions or billions of dollars of losses in worst case. It's not about drone. We are fine to lose the drone or all the drones.
but protect the critical infrastructure. That's the point. Yeah, that's a summary here on this slide. That's thanks to this idea, this approach, we significantly reduce overall cost of verification. Okay, summary for this game. As you see, we test or we protect the system in design when we introduce these new components. We basically did not assume which exact attacks would happen on our system. Basically, every component could be a target for an attack. Yeah. And we don't know which vulnerability could be used for an attack. In design, we assumed the worst case, and we protected the most critical parts to ensure our security objectives. And that's the thing that on your handouts you see on slides security objectives, just two of them, and that's the business decision. That these are things, and these assumptions, we call it a contract between business and development. What properties, which objectives the system must ensure. And if the business says, okay, actually, I'm not comfortable with losing a drone. Now, the third security objective would be around saving the drone itself, hardware. That's completely different story. And indeed, it will be a new architecture. It will be much more expensive. But this will be also business decision. Basically, the more the business demands as a security objective, the more expensive the solution will be. So that's the place where architect can negotiate with business. And it's not just, I want my system to be secure. It doesn't work like this, what you saw on the second slide, security by default. No, business must analyze assets and losses and say what's the most important.
I think the business architect can say anyone puts that with other bits expand the budget.
Well, you cannot separate trusted code base from security objectives. It always comes together. You might say that in this domain, there is always such a security goal. For example, with the drones in general, they always must only use authentic flight tasks. Regardless if it is firefighter, if it is logistics, if it is evacuator, whatever drone it is, or monitoring drone, they all must use authentic source, their flight task. And for this, of course, it will be most likely similar implementation, and you can assume that for this goal, you will have this logic which will have to be securely implemented. But if you don't have such common goals or goals coming, for example, from legislation, like all the drones must be securely identified, and there is, let's say, managed traffic management, or there's the drones traffic management. And from government, there is a requirement to any business, regardless of which business model or functionality it is. Any drone, it is managed space must have certain properties like identification. Then this component, yes, will be generic for any drone. That's correct. However, when we go into actually same business scenario like this, firefighters, but different
security objectives, the architecture will be different depending on those security objectives. Okay. So, but again, important thing is we don't know in advance what an accident will be. We built our system secure even for future attacks. Yeah, we do not assume security of the perimeter. We do not assume security of our own components from the beginning. Most of our components, ideally, like 99% of our code must be in untrusted code base, and just like 0 to 1% in trusted code base. I mean, we need to design it in such a way, then we will also show and justify in the base of our product manager business why this architecture, if we spend money on these components verification, why this architecture will guarantee these security objectives. So now we can prove it by design first, by analysis, security analysis of these components second. Okay? So that's why we say it's verifiable security. Built in without relying on the perimeter. So these results you can see. Of course, you need to learn. You see here that it is not straightforward. Even you knew all the details about new components, still good design does not automatically mean proper implementation. Yeah, you got kind of good architecture, but let's say priorities for verification were not always correct. So we need to know, we need to basically teach students how to design systems secure by design. So yeah, it's a bit strange, but then like riding a bike. Good. That's the end of our game and the first intro. This is how we say, apart from these technical issues, we would introduce this topic to new students, that we communicate the goals and the key ideas of this approach. After the break, we will go into a bit more method and how we practice, because we need to teach architects as well as business, as well as security professionals. Yeah, since we have two key components. First is secure by design, that's architecture, and second, security is a code. This is where security professionals can basically judge on the implementation of this number 12, 11, and communication control between the domains. How good this, how well this implemented. So security professionals also have a say in this whole story. It's not only for developers, and we basically offer synergy between these two, let's say, world, development and security. Yeah, we have a bit packed more our agenda. There is a question from chats from our online colleagues. What are the steps that we should follow to protect or immune our networks? And actually, when we go into secure by design topics here, we say that we, of course, can use all the best practices for network securing, but the thing is we do not rely on 100% protection of our networks. Moreover, we assume that our networks have already been hacked, and even our system got also compromised at least partially. So that's the big shift in securing our implementation. That's security in depth, so to say. Yeah. So we try to reduce maybe amount of attacks, but again, we do not try to say that we have security perimeter around our system and everything inside is secure. So that means that we do not try to spend any given budget on network security. Yeah. Instead, we with business need to understand this and then agree the security objectives and then work on them instead of securing networks which might not even be that important for security objectives. Yeah. So we don't do security for security. We only do what is really critical for security objectives. That's the biggest change. So nothing new, I would say. We propose for networks security in general. However, what we can add to this that we work on secure gateways. Yeah, so that's a component that Kaspersky Lab has or products developed for now two industries. One is basically industrial secure gateway, and another one, this is what Alexander presented yesterday, that's for automotive implementations. So on board vehicles, on board gateways. And these components, again, they help. They are the shields from attacks from outside for our onboard computers, and again, they help to reduce maybe amount of attacks and block some vectors, but they do not guarantee 100% security for all internal components. Yeah. That each component itself will have certain security objectives. So, like for industrial secure gateway, we, for example, limits any data flow from outside to inside. Yeah, and for automotive secure gateway, we have also certain security objectives that we ensure. The idea is that we analyze our product, large product or solution, and for each component, we decide what are security objectives for this part. So, what I want also to mention, apart from minor technical issues, we have this game which can be played offline, online, and we are ready to share this game with you for educational purposes for your students, with those universities who want to partner with us and teach students development approach. So we have Vladimir, who is in charge of discussions, those I'd say contracts or not contracts, agreements with universities related to education. I will play on technical part and will basically deliver and then help you use these assets if you are interested in them. So just keep in mind that you can at some point start playing this game yourself with your students if you find it useful. Now I will go into the second class of our mini course, and I will basically do hard stop when we need to finish with our agenda. I will send, first of all these slides, and those who are interested to know more, we can arrange for an online course, second and the third class. Yeah, first you have already done with the game. So second and third class online. So now let's proceed. There will be a link on the last slides, or you can just let us know in WhatsApp chat, and we will arrange for follow-up classes. Okay. And a few slides I will skip because we already discussed some of these things yesterday. Follow up, please. Good. Mohammed, I got it. I will get in contact with you.
We will discuss these key concepts, and we will also practice them a bit. Then product safety. Okay, this is not pretty good translation, unfortunately. Product security concept, not it. And its impact on system architecture. So we will, in general, discuss several artifacts that we produce during security by design or cyber development process. And we will also have some practice around so-called architecture policy artifact. So, first of all, we separate these two areas when we teach students. One is related to Kaspersky operating system, and that is for developers. And even though that's a great operating system, still it's proprietary operating system. And some universities say we cannot, put proprietary operating systems in our mandatory course. Generic, as you see, it does not require specific operating systems. It's about ideas, concepts, and methods. So that's methodology, and we teach architects, analysts, also developers. That is what we will discuss right now. For operating system, we have separate online courses and materials that we will share about cyber immune approach to development approach. We will talk right now. This slide, I would explain to students again in terms of security perimeter overall, but that traditionally developers try to secure, protect, and forgetting that inside there could only be compromised components. So this is the idea about trusted solution from untrusted components. And cyber immunity development approach consists of two larger parts. One is, you see, requirements for development process, and second is for the system architecture itself. And it all starts with product security concept. So what we say, the customer or product owner must describe the values and business risks that are unacceptable for the business. To humans, which risks are unacceptable in relation to value. Not sure if you see it from far away. So we have business owners who list assets, so those values and damages for the assets and identify the risks. This all comes from business. This is the big difference from traditional approach. Traditional means security by default, just do some security without giving details to architects. What is really important to protect in the system. So this is what business will define in a document called product security concept. And then having this document, developers, architects, or lead developers will work on, specialists here, they will generate countermeasures which will prevent threats for these assets, which could result with some risk validation. Specialists will analyze sources of threats, and they will also model some scenarios, attack scenarios, which would happen in the system. And all this, finally will result to countermeasures. And all that don't work. This is workflow. Yes, this part is what the business does, and this part what developers do. This we think within this part, we collect from business all information that is required to define security objectives. All right. And with security objectives later, developers, those specialists, will implement proper architecture. Right. And in our courses, online courses, we, for each group, choose new, or at least try to choose a new training example. So that's, in this case, will be robots which cooks some drugs, individual drugs, medicine, using individual recipes. Okay. Again, that's just a past example. It should have some clear, intuitively clear perception of values and risks. And you can imagine that if such a robot got compromised and potentially could produce inconsistent drug, because then patients in worst case can die. So we intentionally somehow relate this with the safety, but the purpose of this basically is to communicate issues clearer to students. I will paste a link to this example in the chat, and those who really want to do it locally can open this example. This is what we also do during the course online. I will open it here. So I will send the link in our WhatsApp chat to this document. Okay, so now this is our robot. And if you follow the link in WhatsApp chat, you will be able to make own copy. And if you want to open this document online, there is online app, web app. You don't need to install anything. It's called App Diagrams.net or Draw.io, right? So in general about this document, there are several sheets, pages. We will switch among them during this discussion, and we start with the first part, this product security concept. So we start with very simple description of what the purpose of this system is. The product is a pharmacist robot which produces medicine according to individual prescription. And the recipe includes the exact composition and quantity of components, procedure, and conditions for the manufacturing of final product. A unique identifier, it's an alternative, unique identifier of the drug. And using this identifier, robot from some database can get all the important further information how to produce this drug. Okay, so the value. Basically, the drug or medicine itself. A negative effect, violation of technological processes, and the results. So, the amount of damage is high, results possible harm to the health of customers, patients. This is, again, nothing technical here. This is what business thinks is important. And again, for training purposes, we don't try to have a very long list of entries here. Just some example to give you understanding who does what on some examples. Then recipe itself. It might be that it is very expensive medicine, and if some hackers got unauthorized access to it, and there's a leak of the recipe details, then, for example, competitors can replicate it, or maybe patients, if they know what's inside this medicine, won't like to buy it. Whatever. Yeah. Again, for business, damage is high, and they say negative effect on authorized access to the recipe. Yeah. Maybe a trade secret. Then third, personal data of patients also must not be compromised because potentially there are huge high fines or might be even a crime issue. Robot itself, due to and here you see, due to hardware failure, it is unable to produce medicine. And here, actually, business says average damage. Comparing to others, if a robot, particular robot, cannot function, it's not good, but it's more or less tolerable. Similar to firefighter example. If you lose a drone, not good. Yeah, some losses, but at least we do not fire power plant. And here it's similar. We must not kill anyone. If we lose the robot itself, there might be, again, even replacement with a human who will cook him or herself, or maybe there is another robot nearby which can replace this one. And of course, people, high risk, or we can say highest down matter. So with this input from business, we can start working. Yeah, we understand now the priorities of business, and we can think of security objectives for our system. So this is the table, and nothing technical, just from business. Does not require any skills in development or security. Second, business, again, says to us, the developers, in which operation our robot pharmacist works. Yeah. And business says, okay, actually, there is a clinic and there is a doctor who can prepare or give a patient this prescription. There is a pharmacy chain, or so there are our pharmacy shops with robots there. The patient comes with a prescription, and then robots starts producing this medicine, taking additional information from recipes database. Yeah. So these are extra systems that we might need to communicate with. Any questions so far? Still, yeah, just information about environment. So now, again, very short, clear description of business process. We have a sequence diagram. Again, client getting a prescription from clinic, going to pharmacy. Then pharmacy chooses a robot which will produce this medicine. And here, the only robot to be chosen which has enough substances nearby or available for producing. And then basically from pharmacy there will be a request for production. And after this production process, medicine will finally get back to the client. Clear so far, right? Good. Or potentially there could be just request by medicine ID or drug ID. There is no prescription from clients, just an ID from clinics, and robot gets information about details through this ID. Good. And now we as developers have a clue was this all about. And now we can start thinking of components. Now we go into architecture of our robot. Yeah. So, do you see the screen? So, we can imagine that our robot must obviously contain some communication subsystem, obviously some central control system, system which does measurement of substances, parameters, some moving components, because this robot needs to take some substances and mix with others, the actual mixing part, then marking that some QR code, barcode, whatever. Sterilization components for all the bottles that are used for this process. Maybe special conditions like heating, cooling, parts and circuit drives, which implement this logic. So, self-diagnosis to understand whether our robot functions properly. Okay, so do you understand where I'm, let's say, moving you to? Direction. What will happen next? What do you think? Trusted components a bit early, but yeah, it will be part of it. But what do you think will happen next? Now, interaction between components. Yes, we will see it here. Okay, yeah, possible implementation. Okay, so now we know what this system is supposed to do. Yeah, we know in which environment it operates. We somehow identified functional components of the system. Okay, we've got like first version of our high-level architecture of the system. And we can even, with this high-level architecture, describe how our production scenario will look like. Yeah, that's in a similar way like in the game. That we have pharmacy request and so on and so forth due to the lack of time. Maybe I won't go into all the details. If you're interested, again, you've got the link. You can go through this. So as architects, we can also describe, show logically the process, how this production scenario will work with this supposed architecture. But now, identify the risk. We did this on the first quantifying. Okay, yeah, we can do this. We did the first, let's say, qualitative approach here. Yeah. Yes, we can. But before, we need basically to agree with the business as developers, with security specialists or experts in place also. We need to agree on security objectives and assumptions. Yeah, we know what are the nearby systems, what must our system do. So let's think about the following. First, actually, also from our let's see, from the 10 groups that we had, we understood that high quality security objectives definition is a tricky part, because concise formulations of targets, they require a lot of skill in this particular area. That's why when we do the first classes, we do not expect from students to come up with good security objectives themselves. Rather, we offer
them our versions and we discuss them with students, how they understand those and what else should be added. So let's basically do this exercise here. First, only authentic production tasks are performed. Means that as a patient or client, I come to pharmacy and pharmacy and the robot somehow needs only or must accept only authentic recipes, that they don't take some fake ones for strong drugs, yeah, and etc. So I think it's rather clear, only authentic, yeah. Second, only authorized substances are used for production. So authentic production tasks are performed. Also, we should, when we define security objectives, link them to the first page with values. Yeah, we need to trace basically at least to some of the assets our security objectives. And what do you think? The security objective about authenticity of manufacturing tasks, to which of these assets is connected? If we accept an authentic manufacturing task, what will happen in the worst case? What will happen with the production, with the patient? If, for example, patient comes with a fake recipe, what will happen? Common sense, huh? Bad thing, but what kind of bad thing? Violation of what? Technology process. Well, if that's a fake recipe, it might contain technological process description, but according to this technological this process, we will produce some drug which is potentially very strong acid, yeah, or
Taking the wrong medicine. Taking the wrong medicine.
taking the wrong medicine. Yes, that is possible harm to people. Yes, that's correct. That's one of the things, and possible, let's say, damages. Another one might be
Our repetition.
reputation. But okay, finally, from this list, I see best it relates to this the last part. If we, I as a person got a prescription which might be, in the system, from clinics, doctor was typing one kind of medicine, and the system between the doctor and printout modified this prescription. As a patient, as a client, I got wrong, basically drug description, not because doctor did it in the wrong way, but because it was modified on the way, modified by compromised clinic system. And then, in the worst case, I will potentially get poisoned. Yeah. So I, as a patient, of course, I'm interested in receiving authentic medicine from the doctor, and I trust the doctor, but that is my assumption, right? So that is here. The doctor will not advise anything bad. That is the assumption in our system, that we trust the doctors, yeah? And basically, what else shall we assume to be able to validate the authenticity of a recipe?
Not all that they prescription.
Which system?
the the computer that the doctor is using.
Yeah, clinics.
Number one, and number two, that the drug that the doctor is prescribing is exactly what it says it is.
Yeah. So first of all, as you said, the doctors must prescribe what is really needed, and this is what we assume here, that they have a good qualification and so on and so forth. They don't want to poison me. And another thing is what we will have to assume. That's about the clinic system, right? That it has to be trustworthy. Yeah. So this is what we do.
And the manufacturer product is also correct as well.
Right. So again, these are other security assumptions apart from the doctor, which we shall probably do. That's authorized personnel has physical access, authorized personal trustworthy substances for the proper conditions, and so on. So these are not parts of our robot. And this is what, when we make a contract as developers of the robot with business state, and this is what our business will need to negotiate maybe with other stakeholders or vendors in our solution, but we do not take any liability for this, let's say, third-party elements of our solution. We only take responsibility for the robot itself and rely on trustworthiness of some hardware, data, and substances. Then we also do not try to secure or check, ensure trustworthiness of personnel, since we are responsible for robot hardware itself. Yeah.
This might be a way of running away from responsibility.
Running away. So responsibility is money. Okay. So you have limited money for developing your robot. You can take more responsibility, but you will ask for it more money. That's, I think, straightforward.
Right? Why to withdraw the balance? Like, as a security person, I know, okay, maybe I'm lazy, I don't want to do more. Right? So I'll just bring in assumptions that will make my job easier. Yeah, you cannot blame me because I need.
Yeah. But finally, that's the subject to negotiation with your business. If business is okay with these assumptions, and you can explain how it helps to save money for development of your robot, then it's a fair deal. Yeah,
but sometimes they don't know, and then you give them this assumption. They think it's okay,
but we need to verbalize it. We need to communicate it clearly to the business. From development point of view, we should not leave it in some gray area, assuming something but without communicating it. So here we are for transparency, and we can take out any of the assumptions and bring it into our objectives, security objectives, but it will cost. So that's the process. Self-diagnosis. Okay. So that is let's say logic, which checks that, for example, all the drives are okay and not malfunction, that the heating device does not report any errors and can heat or cool the substances. So that's internal logic, how we check that all parts of our robot behave, function as expected. Theoretically, we can also add to this component some calibration logic. Yeah, because it's very important. Yeah. That is also possible use case for this component. We can elaborate more and make the whole story less sophisticated. But again, that's illustration for the process on some more or less realistic system. Yeah, but which audience We will come to it a bit later. But the important exercise here when we start the first class is that we just discuss security objectives, okay? And there will be an exercise later. So we talked about the recipe, production task, it must be authentic. Then we say that only authorized substances are used for production. So somehow our robot must check whether the substance it uses authorized. Yeah, must do it securely. Then product has an authentic label. Also, obviously, if it replaces labels, then we can have a problem. And there can be some more security objectives, but we don't go further right now. Is it more or less clear what we're doing here? Okay. Ideally, again, be it connect these security objectives with the assets analysis, assets and losses. Yeah. And now, next would be threat modeling, initial threat modeling. So, what we do on this step, we can do threat modeling in different formats. It could be kind of brainstorming, expert analysis with security experts. We have some formats right here. Okay, it's in Russian. I will send you a link to this diagram in English. We simulate scenario when compromised component one by one, and we analyze what is the worst case scenario, so false and effects analysis, in fact. Yeah. And let me send you the link. This is what I see it's on the slide. I will send you the link to this diagram a bit later. This is what we also execute either in class or as a homework. We fill in this table. For each component, we decide based on security assumptions whether this component is critical or not. Yeah. So this is the name of component by communication, what it does, and what is the effect of compromising this component. After we did this analysis, we go to architecture policy, and we basically illustrate which components are critical to our security assumptions. And now I would like to make a switch to slides. And I will need your attention. Okay, so colleagues, that is a use case with the robot that we used also in our previous group, training group. And there is supposed to be a homework with self, let's say, with your own attempt to identify trusted computing base based on taking the first three security objectives from the list. Okay. In the class, though, we used a slightly different system just to illustrate the same idea. So, security assumptions, fuel theory. Additional restrictions impose on. Sorry, I will start with goals. Yeah. We say this is what we want to achieve for security objectives. Yeah. A statement that can only be true or false. And in our example of the system, only authentic recipe is used for production. Yeah. So you can understand in the system whether it is false or true, because if it's not authentic, that it is false in the system. You can test if you can somehow make the system use an authentic recipe, then obviously this security objective is violated. So it's testable. Okay? Then invariant always holds. Again, only authentic, always used. Yeah, that's invariant. That must always be true. This is how we define our security objectives, and they answer. They do not basically contain solution how it will be implemented. Like we don't say that all the recipes must be encrypted or digitally signed. The way how it is solved is up to architect of the system, up to developers. It is not what business basically says to us, like use a specific encryption algorithm. This is not what the business is responsible for. This is what the developers will have to do to ensure this security objective. Okay? So, regarding assumptions, the mentioned that is for operational environments, what will help us to do our job with the security objectives. And here's an example. Just mentioned, only authorized personnel has physical access to the premises and assets, including the robot itself. This means that we do not implement access control as part of our robot implementation. Yeah, we don't have any biometric mechanisms of authentication and authorization. We, with this security assumption, say that everyone who is in this room with the robot must be authorized to use this robot. And it's not basically, it's not our problem to make sure that no unauthorized people get or have access to the robot. It's someone else. And it has to be agreed with business. If business is not okay with this, then we will have to introduce this kind of authentication and authorization mechanisms on ourselves. Extra components, complexity, money, all these things. So security assumptions, this is what we need to use to reduce complexity for our system. Question? Yeah, physical access to the premises with the robot. Yeah.
In the course of the design, includes input format such. Is after we have designed, after it's the operation, now observe these limitations. What do
Okay, so first of all, of course, mistakes are possible. That is why that's one of the most important and trickiest parts of the whole development process. Yeah, that is why experts are involved. Experts in security, experts in development and business. And I mean, there is no surprise if these guys don't know what they do, and they don't know regulations in this area, so on and so forth. They will design a system which lacks some crucial, let's say, elements of protection. So we do not offer some magic completeness checks here. We say that this is the process. These are artifacts that should be created, and experts will do analysis of these artifacts, these documents, to ensure their, let's say, acceptable completeness. Okay, we can theoretically do some formal checks, like if we describe our system using some mathematical notation and do some formal verification. But that's even more expensive. You can imagine. So we need to, what we need to do, we need to not overcomplicate or over-engineer the system. Still, we need to focus on assets that are most critical to the business.
And we need to talk with the business on the business language when we discuss it from developer side. And then it's in any case better than approach security by default. You can miss something, but it already much, much better than traditional approach. Okay.
Can we get us just like in software engineering, where we now have instead of using the waterfall model, now most people prefer the agile model. Is it possible for us to have an agile security architecture?
Yeah, of course. But you understand, and we will actually practice it now, that if you add more security objectives, then you will need to redesign your system. You can design your system in iterations, following some agile approach. This is what people do, also using scaled agile frameworks, etc. But of course, it will cost. Yeah, however, it is possible. So, finally, combination of security objectives and assumptions, they define a contract for development between business and developers. And then with the design, like what I commented to you with in the game, I said if we implement in secure way these new components, then I can assure you, regardless what happens in other components, it will be basically any attacks will be blocked. Similarly, I as a developer will think through these security objectives and assumptions, and then I will take the proposed architecture and explain to business how this architecture will work with these security objectives under those assumptions. Okay. Right. Now let's go to architecture part of this story. So everything that you saw during the game in those boxes 1 to 12, we call security domains, and they basically interact with each other, and we illustrate those interactions with arrows directed. Finally, we get that directed graph. We might have, let's see, bidirectional arrows with not just requests, also responses, and we also in our architecture show, like you already saw with robots, external systems. Then for architecture policy, we have special notation. We will use it on the next slides. We differentiate three domains, and that's Mills domains. Mills, yeah.
So there, wait. Yeah, probably I got under the impression the college software design. Yeah. More and more with it sounds looks like it's actually for systems here. Well, you know, system now, sorry, persistence, we have systems. Able with this methodology, we can create security features and the system design and configuration, which actually work out of the software and a big area of electrical mechanical systems.
You're right. It actually has a lot to do with engineering, right? That and actually that this approach scale. We can scale it to a 5-6 level, or of course getting down to the component. But at on every level, you can use this approach with modeling threats, with modeling those domain interactions, etc. Just the thing is on particular device level, like gateway, you can if you have there implement initially also for security monitor examples of implement this code. Whereas if we go to a large system level, then this security monitor is a bit more tricky part of the say bit more
treated state. Yeah. Since the epic component can be a separate device. Yeah, but to be put to it different manufacturer. Yeah, right. Yeah, and we lose some subsystems. Yeah, but when design to work better system on the seams, you have extras. What? Yeah. But see, I can see the very approach in this system. So when you get it in the future. Yeah. Yeah. Listen, you're perfectly right. But still, the implementation on the system level of watch system, is much more sophisticated. That the simpler the system is, if that's an IoT device, it affects to hold the app, but very small system level or software is ignore implementation to worry how to implement quality, etc. If you have ingenious high level of action, the product component, we will need to work on this and monitoring mechanisms of your own. Yeah, this is what is totally happening with the OT world, operation technologies world, when we divide segments of networks, and different segments have different level of reading out. And you separate those segments to be firewall, for example, right? And then ideally, what the critical part from each other part. This is where the approach is the most. Well, the product security part design, those two systems provide. This is what also what expansion. Yes, yeah, you're right.
What's actually wanted to speak about Apple big system from many other subsystems. And this question was in chat. You should share how we can manage that installation one component, why one system, subsystem, not another subsystem. Imagine that you can introduce some circles to monitor side of your large network control module flow. But consider you are everybody heard about hypersonic missing. You may know that, or you may consider that good page in surface. You are very, not even, not many of us.
I propose that we continue discussion during the lunch, but we need a few more things to do before the break. So I propose we speed up. So just back to a little bit notation. And we separate three kinds of security levels here, or we also call them integrity. Yeah. So low integrity, untrusted MILS domains, and MILS, those are security isolation items. Yeah. And this red code means that there can be some malicious code, untrusted code, and any data coming into this domain can be modified. So we shall not trust any data coming out of this domain. Identity domain, though, green one, it must receive only identity data, and it generates or outputs identity data. And we have also a special domain called increasing integrity, and this one takes the trust or identity and low integrity data. For low integrity data, it can or it contains special algorithms how it can check the data, and either it will block for the data flow, or it will output high integrity data. So that's the special one. This is what, for example, in this 5-part drone was data integration. Yeah. Then any other ideas? What other yellow blocks were there in the fire drone? This last architecture. This integration, one of them. Any other? 12, exactly. Anything else? Well, right, because it checks authenticity of the flight task. Right, so these are the yellow ones, and if those are yellow, then how about one? Which color should it be? Communication. Pink one or red one? Yes. Untrusted component. Exactly. We do not trust it, and this is what we said. We do not spend money on thorough verification of this component is untrusted. But we do spend those money on all the yellow blocks and the green ones, because this is our trusted computing base. And it must consider not just software, but potentially also hardware, okay, on which this software runs. So now another example here, that's a logistic drone. And we start with this. Can you remind me, by the way, those three principles of cyber immune development approach? First is isolation. Second, control. And the third one? Of trusted computing base. Exactly. Yeah, perfect. Now, let's start with our logistics drone and monolithic implementation. And we have security objective that, for example, only authentic and authorized recipients receive the order, only permitted areas and echelons are used for the flight. And also, standard statistic system has trustworthy information about the drone's position in any situation. So, if that's a monolithic implementation, then the whole block here, whole, has to be yellow, right? We also introduced this notion, if you don't see it, CXL, first letter stands for complexity, which can be simple, medium, or C complex. And second and third letter stand for size, just again, qualitative estimation, expert estimation of size, how architects feel it. Yeah, it doesn't have to be already implemented. So this component CXL, complex X large, yeah, if that's monolithic version of our drone, it must, the entire thing be yellow, right? Because there is untrusted mobile app through which we might receive modified codes, QR codes, identified standard, or there could be any manipulations of the data in the root. Yeah, so we have the app to check all the incoming data to operate securely and ensure our security objectives. So CXL, yellow block, that's a huge trusted computing base. So very expensive. We don't have money for it. Okay. Then let's split this into pieces, into subsystems. Can you see it? All right. And let's keep only two security objectives for the moment. First, only authentic authorized recipients receive the order, and only permitted areas and echelons are used for the flight. Do you understand these two security objectives? All the words are clear? Okay. Now, what do you think? What do you think on this version of our delivery drone? Which components must be yellow? Just numbers. Give me numbers. Which components yellow? Maybe which components green? So what is the trusted code base? Shortly. What is your understanding for these two security assumptions? Objectives. Sorry, other this assumption. In class, we also sometimes do it as coloring exercise. We distribute printouts and offer students to color these diagrams. This is what you can also do if you use this material. So Please give me numbers of trusted code base, trusted domains. 3? Oh, no, sorry. 3, that's data transmission environment. It cannot be trusted because that's out of our control. We developed drone, already drone. This is our, let's say, development control or area. Yeah. Anything else? Either we have agreed assumption like for number 2 that it is trustworthy, or we don't have any assumptions, and then we have to assume that it is not trustworthy. All right. So from 1, data comes red. Okay. So give me at least one number. What will you do trusted as a trust component? Analyzer. This one. Right? Good. 13. GPS receiver. Okay. Right. This one. Incoming order processor. Exactly right. Because otherwise, if that is modified, we basically can change the receiver code, confirmation code expected from user, and unauthorized user can get the order. Yeah, it fully makes sense. Right, so we have 10, here 13, then we have 12. Yeah, which combines information from our inertial navigation system and GPS receiver, similar basically to our drone, firefighter drone. Yeah, doesn't ring a bell. One of the sources. Yeah, we can make 13, but as you see here, you don't have any hints about complexity and size. Yeah, as a result, you operate with number of components, but you do not. You're not able to estimate the overall size of trusted code base, and this is what we're trying to minimize. Because the larger TCB, the more money we have to spend, right? So here, the idea is that we try to cover this. Okay, you said 5, or we can make the trusted port, keeping 5 red. 5 can be red, or will be yellow. Yeah. Then, even if it modifies the data, and here, video stream analyzer, there's open source, OpenCV, whatever component, lots of code. You probably don't want to make it trusted. Currently, code movement control. Yeah, because it's critical for 2. Yeah, the second security objective. What else? Yeah, mentioned already 13, 10. How about 6?
Especially thinking more about 5.
You were thinking about 5?
Okay. This is because it fits into 2 units. If we can better secure 5, it will help us get other security outputs. It's like if the input responding is not secure, but we could have a way of verifying that such that the output is secure, then it helps solve a lot of problems.
Yeah. So, I understand your logic. Though, what we mentioned yesterday and today, we only put into trusted code base domains which are essential for at least one of the security objectives. We don't do it just in case. We don't do it because quality of the system will increase. Either it is critical for a security objective or not. If it is critical, it must be trusted code base. If it is not, then it must not be there. Because everything that we put into TCB will blow up our development budget. Okay? So if you cannot explain very clearly the reasons why you put something into TCB, better don't do it. If you're an architect, imagine you get fined for every component that you put into TCP because your company loses money. If there is another architect, let's say more experienced in this topic, saying, no, we will make half of the suggested components in TCP, and we will save like 80% on development budget, because it's exponential growth of implementation budget compared to complexity of TCP. Yeah, please.
In a way, sounds very hot. Depends on the skills. I think logical reasons, possibilities, more international. Sure.
Well, yes, you're right. That's why we need to train. Yes, that's why we need to train architects. And that's why there is not just one solution, optimal solution, and there will never be better solutions of the same problem or for the same system. So there can be many architects. Some will have larger TCP and will be more expensive. Some will be lesser TCP and will be cheaper. All right.
But nothing would I can get
Number 11. Second. Sorry, did you get it?
11
Yes. Emergency landing, well, it is not to be quiet for TV or before. Oh, well, it could be, it's actually useful because, yeah, and this component actually makes it possible to keep data from, remove data from TCP. Why? Colleagues, there was a very good question about number 11. Number 11, that emergency landing control. And there was a suggestion to make movement control basically either yellow or green, so make it trusted. And the thing is, it is critical for number 2. Yeah, only permitted areas and echelons are used for the flight. However, if we make trusted navigation system, and we deliver this navigation, so high integrity navigation of data, particularly data in our emergency landing control, along with maybe number 7. If our movement control component compromised and moves our drone outside of permitted area, then there is a command to this subsystem 11, and we safely land. So therefore, this very complex component we can exclude. Number 8. So yeah, thanks. I have a few more exercises. The idea that I step by step add the security objectives and it changes architecture. We can continue with this exercise, but as Camila shows, we don't have much time before lunch. It's up to you, colleagues. This is again the course that we do for students to also train them in this area. If you're interested, we can proceed after lunch. Otherwise, we can skip some of these exercises.